Hi, I'm Eric Kelly from KellyPlanet.com. This is a closer look at Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 16, The Offspring. This episode's kind of emotional, just a heads up.
While Commander Riker is away on personal leave, the Enterprise has traveled to Sector 396 to begin charting the Celebi asteroid belt.
You know why Riker's off on leave? Because Jonathan Frakes is directing this episode, his first one. Wesley, Geordi, and Troy are heading to see Data because he said they need to come check something out. Apparently, he's locked himself in the cybernetics lab ever since he came back from some conference.
I have invited you here to meet someone. This is Lal.
Yeah, okay. So Data introduces Lal to the crew. And Lal refers to Data as father. Wesley's like, oh, what? And Data says, yup, this is my child.
I have just been advised of a highly unusual project undertaken by Commander Data.
Lal has a positronic brain, one very similar to my own. I began programming it at the cybernetics conference.
Picard tells Data that he would have liked to have been consulted before he, made another android. But Data points out that no other member of the crew would need to consult him about procreation. And he's right. Troy asks why Lal looks so weird, and Data replies that he's decided to allow Lal to choose they-them pronouns weren't a common thing back then, own gender and appearance. Picard's like, yeah, okay, I need to have a talk with you.
I insist we do whatever we can to discourage the perception of this new android as a child. It is not a child. It is an invention, albeit an extraordinary one.
Why should biology rather than technology determine whether it's a child?
Picard's like, yeah, I don't get this at all. And Troy's like, well, you've never been a parent. Okay, so now Data's getting a talking to. Picard cannot believe Data did all of this without telling anybody. Why should he, though? Anyway, Data apologizes and asks if he should deactivate Lal.
It's a life, Data. It can't be activated and deactivated simply. This is a most stupendous undertaking. Have you any idea what will happen when Starfleet learns about this?
Data says, I've followed all the regulations, and to prepare, I've read everything there is on parenting. And I gotta say, even you humans seem to be confused about how to do that. Picard's getting all flustered and says, I'm not talking about parenting, I'm talking about creating new life. And Data's like, well, is that not what I did? And we get a Picard meme.
I've observed that in most species, there is a primal instinct to perpetuate themselves. I have been the last of my kind. If I were to be damaged or destroyed, I would be lost forever.
I know this is supposed to be all gender neutral, but the person in that suit is definitely male. And it is. It's one of the dudes from Angel 1. They're discussing what Lal will choose to look like, and Lal's like, okay, I want to be just like Troy. 2 Troys would be great for me, but they say, no, you got to do your own thing.
I have completed assembly of the replicated anatomy. I was able to provide Lal with more realistic skin and eye color than my own.
Congratulations, Data. It's a go.
So it looks like Lal has decided to be Helly Todd from Lizzie McGuire, and Data shows her their quarters. At this point, Lal's cognitive abilities seem to be at the level of B4 from Nemesis. So Data begins teaching her.
Training in social skills at the most elementary level has begun. And it is interesting to note that as I observe Lal learning about her world, I share in her experience, almost as though I am learning things over again.
Wesley suggests that while Data is on duty, Lal attends school. And Data's like, well, she already knows everything that I know. But Wesley says, I mean, she could learn from kids her own age. Data says, but she's only 2 weeks old. Lal starts asking all kinds of existential questions. Why am I here? Why? As kids do. So Data turns her off. You can't do that with human kids. So he's like, yeah, tomorrow you're going to school.
I assure you, Admiral, there is no better guide into this life for Lal than Data. He's doing an excellent job.
You're making your stand on very uncertain ground. I do hope it doesn't fall out from under you. Haftel out.
So Lal's at school and is testing out perfectly, but she's having trouble socially. The teacher says she has put Lal with younger students, but they're afraid of her. In the turbo lift, Lal tells Data that the kids at school often laugh at her remarks. I must be very humorous. Data informs her they're not laughing with you, Lal, they're laughing at you. Why? Because you're different, and sometimes people hide their fear with humor. Lal says she does not want to be different, so Data goes to see Beverly.
I require your advice.
Be there to nurture her when she needs love and attention.
I can give her attention, Doctor, but I am incapable of giving her love.
Now why do I find that so hard to believe?
Picard's in his sexy gear when Worf chimes in with a message from Starfleet Command. It's that grouchy Admiral guy from earlier, and he's coming on board to inspect Lal. He kind of warns Picard, yeah, I have the authority to take her away if I so choose. Bye.
We are holding position pending the arrival of Admiral Haftel from Starfleet Research. Commander Data is completing his final neural transfers to the android he has named Lal.
Data and Lal visit Guinan and 10 forward, and Data says they are there for Lal to observe human behavior. And for that opportunity, she will work. Lal tells Guinan that her father told her that she could learn a lot from someone as old as you. Guinan is pretty old. Whoopi's only like 35 here. Good deal. Guinan's like, let's get started.
That would be most beneficial.
I've been programmed with a listing of 1,412 known beverages.
What did you say?
You have used a verbal contraction.
You said I've instead of I have.
It is a skill my program has never mastered.
Holy crap, Lal used a contraction. Even Data can't do that, except 44 times in the first 2 seasons. Picard calls Data to his ready room, so Lal stays with Guinan. Picard informs Data about Admiral Grouchy Face and how he's coming to basically do a home inspection, like, youth services. And the Admiral thinks Lal should be at a Daystrom facility.
And he wishes to relocate us.
Not you, Data. Just her.
I would not be in favor of that, sir.
Captain, Commander Riker's shuttle has just returned.
Oh, Mr. Director has arrived. Data's like, so am I to assume that the Admiral is questioning my abilities as a parent? Picard's like, yeah, pretty much. Data says, I wonder how much experience the Admiral had when his first child was born. Rock on, Data. Lal is observing a couple in 10 forward and asks why they're holding hands. Guinan tells her that humans like to touch each other. They start with the hands and go from there.
He's biting that female.
No, he's not biting her. They're pressing lips. It's called kissing.
Why are they leaving?
Lal, there are some things your father's just gonna have to explain to you when he thinks you're ready.
And there's Director Riker, and he notices the new lady on the ship. Oh, holy crap, Data does not like that. Lal puts big old John Frakes down like a sack of potatoes, and Data's like, dude, what are your intentions with my daughter? Daughter? Yeah, nice to see you. And he gets out of there. Lal is all confused. What's the point of being like a human if you have no emotions? Data says the struggle is what is important. Life's a journey, not a destination. Steven Tyler. Admiral Homewrecker and Picard are enjoying some tea in the ready room and have a decided difference of opinion on Data and Lal. The Admiral says, you are talking like this is breaking up a family. They're just androids.
They're living, sentient beings. There are rights and privileges in our society.
Yes, and work like this demands to be done with control procedures.
Which Commander Data is following.
In effective isolation.
I guess Starfleet's problem is Data raising Lal without supervision, because she's a technological breakthrough. They go visit Lal in 10 forward, and the Admiral's like, you have her working in a bar? This is a waste of her capabilities. Guinan steps in and is like, come on, man, you've been in a bar or two, haven't you? But he's grouchy again and says, have her report to me immediately.
In all these discussions, no one has ever mentioned her wishes. What are your wishes, Lal?
I wish to remain here, Captain Picard.
Thank you, Lal. You're excused.
Lal seems visibly upset, which should be impossible, and goes to see Counsel Troy. She's like, oh no, there's an Admiral here to take me away. I'm scared. How's that possible? Like I said. Troy says, I don't know. Lal isn't doing so well. So the Admiral, I don't think I've used his real name yet, Haftel, says to Data, sorry man, I've decided to take Lal with me.
Damn it, even I can see. The umbilical cord is virtually uncut. The child depends on him.
Data tells Haftel that he created Lal in the hopes that she would follow in his footsteps and join Starfleet. You're asking me to give her up. That goes against everything I've ever learned about human parenting. The Admiral orders Data to give her up. Picard's like, nope, I will take this to Starfleet. And the Admiral's like, I am Starfleet. You are jeopardizing your career.
There are times, sir, when men of good conscience cannot blindly follow orders. Order a man to hand his child over to the state. Not while I'm his captain.
Way to go, Picard. Just then, Troy chimes in, there is something really wrong with Lal. That's not good. Troy tells him, I don't know how, but Lal was experiencing fear and confusion and then just kind of took off. Data says she's programmed to return to my lab in the event of a malfunction.
A malfunction. Emotional awareness.
It appears to be a symptom of cascade failure.
I agree. May I assist?
Thank you, Admiral.
So Data and the Admiral get to work to try to save Lal. Geordi, Wesley, and Troy are waiting for some news. The Admiral comes out, and things are not good. She's not going to make it.
His hands were moving faster than I could see, trying to stay ahead of each breakdown. He refused to give up. It just wasn't meant to be.
Data tells Lal that he can't fix her, and she's like, yeah, Dad, I know. We must say goodbye now.
I love you, Father.
I wish I could feel it with you.
I will feel it for both of us. Thank you for my life.
Human.
And that's it. Lal's gone. Data goes to the bridge to inform the captain that Lal's been deactivated. Of course, we're all sad, but Data isn't capable of that. Turns out, Data downloaded Lal's memories into his system, and she will live on within him.
Lay in a course for the starbase on Otar 2.
Course is set, sir.
Engage.
Yeah, wow, that was heavy, and I'll get to that in a minute. As I mentioned, this was the first time Jonathan Frakes sat in the director's chair, and he did a great job, which is why he will go on to direct many more episodes across several series and 2 films, one of which was First Contact, considered by many to be the best Star Trek movie, save for Wrath of Khan. This is also the first script by Rene Echevarria, who would go on to be a producer on Deep Space Nine. I made some remarks about the Admiral, but he did have a good point. Having the only 2 Sung-type androids in one place isn't the best idea from a logical point of view. Many people think this is one of the best Star Trek episodes ever made. That being said, this is not one of my favorites, for 2 reasons. The first is that I don't like being sad on purpose, so I try to avoid that. Secondly, Lal's neurological degradation at the end is something of which I have personal experience, so this is kind of hard for me to watch. It may deserve more, but I'm going to give this 4 deltas out of 5. You can let me know how you feel about that. If you liked that video, thank you. I found this difficult to get through. If you didn't like it, I understand. There's more Star Trek videos and other related content on my website. Check it out at kellyplanet.com. I'm Eric Kelly. Live long and prosper.